Welcome to Cole on Security, and I'm Cole, your host for this particular episode. And today we're going to talk about explosions. In fact, we're going to talk specifically about how explosions operate and how they kill. Now, I'm making this video in the wake of the August 4th, 2020 explosion in Beirut, Lebanon, where something like 300 tons of ammonium nitrate exploded in the heart of the port district of that city. And the devastation, according to everything we can see through the videos and the news coverage, is absolutely devastating. The death count is not finalized as I make this video. However, it is sure to be catastrophic. If you're not sure what ammonium nitrate is, it's probably the leading fertilizer used by agriculture in the world. It is also often used as a precursor for improvised explosive devices and other explosives, such as mining operations and things like that, construction and so on. If it rings a vague bell, it was ammonium nitrate that was used by Timothy McVeigh in Oklahoma City, and also in the first World Trade Center attack in 1993, ammonium nitrate served as the basis for that particular blast as well. So we're going to take a quick look at how explosives operate, how they work, and as a protection professional, you probably need to know something about this. When a high explosive is initiated, a very rapid exothermic chemical reaction occurs. Now, exothermic means a heat-related reaction. As the reaction progresses, the solid or liquid explosive material is converted to very hot, dense, high-pressure gas. The shock wave expands quickly. It also decreases quickly. However, buildings can increase the lifespan of these shock waves. So, for example, when the shock wave meets a surface that is in line of sight of the explosion, it is reflected and amplified by a factor of up to 13. So as you can see, the presence of buildings and other man-made structures can have a significant impact on how explosions behave. Also, diffraction effects caused by the corners of a building may act to confine the air blast, prolonging its duration. Late in the explosive event, the shock wave becomes negative, creating suction. Behind the shock wave, where a vacuum has been created, air rushes in, creating a powerful wind or drag pressure on all surfaces of the building. The wind picks up and carries flying debris in the vicinity of the detonation. In an external explosion, a portion of the energy is also imparted to the ground, creating a crater and generating a ground shock, kind of like a high-intensity, short-duration earthquake. The extent and severity of damage and injuries in an explosive incident cannot be predicted with perfect certainty. Past events show that the unique specifics of the failure sequence of a building significantly affect the level of damage. So it comes down to architecture. Despite these uncertainties, it is possible to give some general indications of the overall level of damage and injuries to be expected in an explosive event, based on the size of the explosion, distance from the event, and assumptions about the construction of the building. Here is an overview of blast effects on a typical building. At first encountering a building, the blast wave shatters windows and may blow in walls. Please note that glass fragments are a very serious kill mechanism that results in numerous casualties. The blast wave now moves and enters the building. The initial response is for floors to rise upward because of the pressure effects. Microseconds later, the blast wave engulfs the entire structure. And as we can see in this third and final illustration, downward pressure on the roof pushes all internal ceilings down. So you have floors being pushed up, ceilings cramped down. It's a recipe for mass casualties. Okay, I hope you're still with me. Now that we looked at some of the architectural factors, some of the building and structural factors that come into play during an explosive event, now let's look at some of the physiological things we need to consider. Okay, so we just spent quite a bit of time talking about the blast effects of an explosive incident. When it comes to primary injuries, these are actually caused by that blast effect, that overpressurization wave when it contacts the human body and its various surfaces. Areas of the body that are injured or destroyed can include any gas-filled structures, and these can include the lungs, obviously, the gastrointestinal tract, and the middle ear system. Bad things happen. So moving on to secondary blast effects, these are the result of flying debris and bomb fragments. Any body part may be affected, and penetrating ballistic fragmentation or blunt injuries can occur to the body. These can include everything from shards of glass, concrete, vehicle parts. I've even seen stop signs get uprooted and thrown across as almost like a guillotine, ready to decapitate bystanders. It's all very real, and it's why architectural design and these types of disciplines need to be considered if you are a protection professional. Next, we have tertiary. This results from individuals being blown by the blast wind. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but this blast, this overpressure comes through, and any body part can be affected once again. Fracture and traumatic amputation can result. Certainly closed and open brain injuries are a possibility. Next, we have what we call quaternary effects. And these are all explosion-related injuries, illnesses, or diseases not due to the primary, secondary, or tertiary mechanisms. This includes exacerbation or complications of existing conditions. Once again, any body part may be affected. And these include burns, flash burns, partial, full-thickness burns, crush injuries, closed and open brain injury, asthma, COPD, and other breathing problems, angina, hyperglycemia, and hypertension. All these can be considered effects, blast effects of an explosive incident. Even though they might be somewhat removed from the actual incident, they are certainly a result. Okay, so there you have it. Pretty down and dirty, short and sweet, right? Okay, so if you really like this episode, go ahead and please click the like button down below. And if you'd like more information, more essential knowledge for professional protectors, go ahead and subscribe. What do you have to lose? It's free. Okay? And if you are really concerned and dedicated to a career as a protection professional, go ahead and check out callonsecurity.com for additional training opportunities. Until next time, keep your powder dry, and I'll see you around campus.